is still here. Hodge actually is the sub, by the way, for those of you who were a little bit confused by the AD carry situation. Schoolboy P is the standard guy on this lineup, and it's Hodge that had subbed in for the first
So
game.
this begs the question that maybe Hodge was better on a Jhin, for instance. Jhin was open, I think, for Schoolboy. He could have picked it, but it just didn't quite fit the composition as best as they wanted to. But I actually think Jhin in a wave clear composition is fine. You can sometimes use Curtain Call to clear waves. Your Bouncing Grenade can also clear waves quite easily as well. So I wouldn't mind seeing Jhin come out for Schoolboy if he can play it.
Instant first pick there. Artori is going to lock in that Graves for Sankers. And we've seen Sankers use this Graves to great effect as well. And I'm curious to see how well Sankers can use this to actually snowball the game for his team, because the only issue I see with Graves is his ganks rely on your laners having CC, right? He relies on your laners being able to lock them down. He brings in the damage. Unfortunately, though, by locking in the Graves, they have allowed Tahm Kench and Echo to go the way of
GLB have learned a valuable lesson in draft strategy.
This is like the reverse of Game 1 right now.
Yeah, they've learned a valuable strategy in drafting here from their first game, potentially. They lock in two very S-tier champions, I would say, for their respective roles. I like that Tahm Kench is good against Graves, particularly as well, because you can soak up the burst, especially if collateral damage and buckshot become an issue. And also then, obviously, you've got Echo, who is almost unparalleled in his ability in the top lane. Now, this may force Perilous to think about the Fiora again, but I really don't think that would be the correct course of action here for Perilous Void. I really think, depending on what they're trying to do with their composition, there are better champions. This split push doesn't seem to be favouring Artorias' playstyle at the moment. He seems almost desperate to get involved in the teamfight scenarios, desperate to have an impact. So why not put him on a champion where he can do that? Something like the Gnar, for instance. Maybe even something later on during the draft phase. We are going to have a Lissandra locked in here, though, Lunchables.
Yeah, interesting one coming out here from Brad. I mean, it sticks with the theme of frozen people, at least, or frozen creatures, along the lines of the Anivia. That's the only connection I can really come up with that. But yeah, it's going to be a completely different playstyle, that is for sure. And I mean, I absolutely adore Lissandra as a champion. I think this could be used to great effect. I can't say I've seen Brad play it specifically, so I don't know where they want to go with this one, but maybe they're looking to push Brad into that split push role. Lissandra is fantastic at split pushing if you roll with teleport.
More importantly, I think she is super good at getting into the backline to deal with annoying AD carries like Ashe. I think Ashe is particularly vulnerable, not only lore-wise apparently, but also in-game against something like a Lissandra, but you need the follow-up for it. And is this... No, I'm not going to say anything until
I don't believe it. I don't believe it until it's locked in. But Lee Sin for Nocturnal Plex.
Wow.
Can I just point out Lee Sin for Nocturnal Plex?
Well, potentially Nocturnal Plex anyway.
That'll definitely be for Plex. That'll definitely be for Plex. I mean, maybe I'm speaking too soon, but I've seen Plex play so much Lee Sin. He loves that hero. I keep saying hero instead of champion, but I don't care. He's definitely going to play
Other MOBAs call it heroes. What MOBAs that I have
Other MOBAs are available.
Other MOBAs that I have been casting frequently, and I'm trying to tell myself to say champion during a League of Legends broadcast.
Yeah, it's not even MOBAs for me. It's Hearthstone.
Hearthstone, yes, for sure. You have been doing a lot of Hearthstone. Oh, and also, what do you call them during Overwatch?
Yeah, heroes.
I say heroes as well during Overwatch.
I don't know if they technically are heroes in Overwatch.
It's a hero shooter, though, isn't it? Technically, that's the...
It's an arena shooter, I think.
We have been told by production that they are heroes.
Either way, let's get back
Besides
to
the point.
Yeah, it is going to be Gnar and Taric locked in here. So, completely different composition to what we've seen in previous games in this series. Perilous trying to take a different tact. We are going to see the restart.
Get some more champions,
champion
guys. How long have you been playing League of Legends? Surely you can unlock all of the champions.
Like, I'm a caster. I don't even like play this as much as you guys do, and I've got all the champions.
I've been playing a long time.
Boys,
I've been playing for like 5 years now, Munchables.
Same.
I have all the champions. But these guys, I'm sure they've been playing equally as long as me, some of them. They must have all of the champions on their account.
I have all the champions, and for a long time, I refused to buy Yorick just on principle.
Well, why? Why Yorick on principle?
Because he's the most toxic champion to lane against. Or used to be. Changed now.
Can see that. He fell out of meta like season 2, right? Though then everyone was like,
yeah, but I played during season 2.
Yeah,
I was there,
yeah.
man. I was there. I remember.
Yorick was actually my second most played champion during season 2 ranked after Leona for some reason. I'm sorry, it was Leona followed by Yorick in my
Yorick support.
my heights of gold 2, I think, during season 2, or gold 2 elo, I think it was at that point. Yeah, I was a big man back in the day.
Season 4 was my peak. Season 4 was
Plat 5.
No, I got Plat 1. I was nearly Diamond 5.
Oh,
nearly.
dude, nice. Give me some love for that.
That play-by-play elo though.
Dude,
I keep decaying at the minute. It's not good.
Apart from Sona, that could make you the highest play-by-play shoutcaster in the UK. Oh no, Desertu is Diamond 4.
Des is Diamond as well.
Desertu is Diamond 4, so Desertu is actually higher than me, and I'm a color caster. So actually, does Desertu fulfill a play-by-play or color usually? This is completely irrelevant.
Des just goes wherever he wants.
Des is a
regardless,
multifunctioning
let's
flex.
talk about the fact that we've got Aurelion Sol in the game.
Okay, so this is why I thought maybe there was the option for Nocturnal Plex to not be on Lee Sin, because we saw him hover Aurelion Sol last time, and it was available. They didn't end up locking it in.
I was wrong, by the way. I will just confirm that it's not him on Lee.
I'm guessing
disappointment.
I'm guessing that Zanny has got a good Lee Sin in his back pocket as well. But Nocturnal Plex definitely.
I don't care how good Zanny is. I just wanted to see Plex on him, man. I'm really sad. I remember the first Epic LAN I did. Nocturnal Plex had like the sickest insec, and it won them the game, and I think it got them to finals as well. I think this was when it was on Infused. I want to say this is a long time ago.
Some team from the UK scene.
Plex has been on basically every team at this stage. It might have even been Choke, you know.
It might have been Choke. I feel like
I think
Plex
he was maybe subbing in for Choke or something, or was he on that Choke roster with like Numlocked?
Maybe. It's been such a long time.
It was like Numlocked, DX Alchemist, and it was Scott, or was that Toaster? I can't even remember. It's so long ago.
Shall I talk about the composition?
Yeah, talk about this game.
Okay, let's talk about this game.
Forget Epic 12 or whatever it was.
Epic 11 or whatever. I think I started at Epic 10. It was great. So Artorias, again, I like this. The matchup is sometimes difficult, but it's more team-wide impactful. I think that plays way better into Artorias' playstyle. Then you have the lockup for a key target such as Ashe. Now, this is all going to be a race to see who can devour or lock our Ashe up in ice quickly, because obviously you can see Alessandra come in, and if she's coming in towards Ashe's vicinity and Zoni is in that particular vicinity, then he just devours the Ashe and you can't lock her up with the Ice Tomb. However, you can lock Zanny up with it, and you can then take him out and then eventually take Ashe out afterwards. So there isn't, a lose-lose situation really for Perilous in that particular way. But then you've got this weird poke composition coming through as well. The Wombo combo, I guess, you have a Gnar ultimate into a self-casted Ice Tomb coming out from Lysandra, and you combo that with collateral damage and the AoE damage from Graves. You can also get good stuns off with a Taric in that situation.
True Shot Barrage as well.
Yeah,
would be huge in that kind of scenario.
The Siege is good, though. The Siege from Perilous is pretty good, and they also have the option for split push. But obviously, the majority of what they have is going to rely on a pick or trying to dive into that backline.
Do you know, I've got to say, despite the fact it's slightly unorthodox, it's not really what we were expecting out of this draft. I actually really like this team composition that Perilous have drafted. It kind of resolves the situation that they had previous games where it was kind of one strategy only and that was all they had to win. They've got multiple different win conditions, and it's not necessarily something that GLB are going to be expecting to go up against. So I think they're going to have to actually think out of the box. It's not going to be something that they've been scrimming against recently either.
Absolutely.
So they'll be out of practice when it comes to this kind of composition.
So they have, like you said, multiple win conditions. Ezreal provides poke by himself. They've got Wombo combo with Gnar, Graves, Lysandra, True Shot Barrage. They have split push threat with Artorias. Once he picks up a Frozen Mallet, should be able to do a good job in the split push. Multiple facets where they can win the game. Teams, multiple facets where they can win the game. You're not relying on that singular win condition. And then you've got GLB, which has a really interesting team composition, because I would say the majority of their team composition lies around Peel for Ashe. You're going to have Ryalize pretty first. Well, I would say Nocturnal Plex almost certainly picks up Ryalize as first item here on Aurelion Sol. And then you have, obviously, the spatial control that Aurelion Sol provides. Stick a Ryalize in there, you slow everybody for Ashe. Ashe adds to that slow, and then you add Lee Sin to the mix with Tempest and Cripple, and you just essentially are peeling back over and over again for Ashe as much as you can. That is really their teamfight strategy, because they don't really have anything else there. Maybe bar landing an Ashe arrow into an Aurelion Sol stun, picking someone off in that respect. But they don't really have that super aggressive maneuvering team fight. A lot of it is all chasing, a little bit like Cassiopeia. You pick up the Rylai's, you start to slow people down with the spinning comets. Ashe then adds to that slow and you chase people, or you kite backwards with the spinning comets. Ashe kites back as well, and you have those multi-directional ways that you can take that team fight. And then you have the split push from Echo as well, who also has a huge role in a team fight just like Gnar does. And that's what both of those top lane champions provide to the mix of things. So both team compositions I really like here. My only worry is Lissandra could be that linchpin. You lock Ashe or Aurelion Sol up and...
I've got to say, I am excited to see Aurelion Sol as well here in the Premiership. This is the first time Aurelion Sol's been in the Premiership. Didn't exist as a hero or a champion last time the Premiership was on. So, should be interesting. And I think as well, while this is a champion that is fully dependent on positioning, right? Especially with those comets being a large source of Aurelion Sol's damage, it's super important that you can position correctly. I think Plex is one of the guys that is very much capable of making that work for himself. He's a very experienced player, and as we saw on Syndra, a very mechanically sound player as well. So we'll see. I've got to say though, I am gutted that he's not on Lee Sin.
I think what I'm really interested in seeing here is how much roam is going to come into this game between Lissandra and Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol is a ridiculous roamer. You know, he can have impacts across other lanes almost instantaneously. So I'm interested to see how much roaming comes out of both him and Lissandra, Brad and Nocturnal Plex.
I've got to say, I absolutely love that Gnar skin. No one ever uses it. Everyone always uses Gentleman, but Snowday Gnar, beautiful.
No, I love Snowday Gnar. He's a little pickaxe. He's so cute.
Yeah. Gnar is always cute. But regardless of the cuteness of Gnar, let's start to talk about these matchups here. How do you think Lissandra versus Aurelion Sol pans out?
This is one I have no experience with myself, because it's been so long since I've seen... I don't think I've ever seen these guys match up in a competitive match. There may be some, you know, obscure matches from some foreign leagues where you've seen this matchup in particular. I would say post 6, you probably have an advantage, especially with a gank coming out from Brad. But for the most part, if Nocturnal Plex is able to control zones quite easily, then he probably has an okay... Yeah, there you go. He probably has an okay laning phase here.
We'll see if that is going to be the case here. Zani putting on the pressure, trying to get towards that blue buff. Actually, a fight going to be starting off here as Artorias jumps into the fray, but he's only level 1, and actually Zani, already level 2, might be able to capitalize here. Flash is going to be forced, but Zani is going to jump straight over with a ward hop, and there is first blood. Foot to the face, and Artorias hits the deck. Zani got the blue buff as well. Fantastic scenario for GLB.
Yeah, super aggressive early on. Plex on this Aurelion Sol as well, already applying pressure to Brad. He's got 5 CS advantage up over him. This is looking good for GLB, and like we said, it was very going to be close between these two teams. It does look like GLB have come out racing in this first, or this last game of this best-of-3 series, though.
Certainly have, and I'm curious to see how Perilous play this one out, because, you know, while we've been talking about their composition and the different ways that they can win, one of the issues with their composition is actually they don't have that much damage, and especially until the late game, that is. Like Lissandra and Ezreal being your 2 main damage dealers. Lissandra doesn't really do that much damage in general anyway, and it's very short range damage. And Ezreal takes a very long time to ramp up.
Yeah, I think the main form of the damage is going to come through that wombo combo. That's the only way they get team-wide damage that's going to be enough in the mid-game to have any kind of significant impact. You know, a multiple-man Lissandra ultimate when it's a self-cast. You've got to get a big Gnar ultimate into a wombo combo, especially if Gnar is going to go for an offensive build or even a semi-offensive build with the Frozen Mallet. So, you know, this really is just huge issues in terms of damage output, like you said, for Perilous Void here. Whereas you can just see that there is more sustained damage coming out from GLB. Ashe herself probably provides more sustained damage than the majority of the Perilous Void compositions. So, like you said, it is super reliant here for Perilous Void to get a wombo combo. But, that being said, they've got pick. So maybe they don't need to have the damage. Maybe they can find a singular target with a pick. You know, Artorias can get to a position where maybe he can split push effectively against Aniki. You know, there is that potential here for Perilous Void. They have those other win conditions that they can play to. And like we've seen, it is not impossible for Perilous Void to get ridiculous wombo combos. They've already done it once or twice this series.
One thing I would love to find out as well, I might message one of the guys after this game and just see whether this is a composition that Perilous have actually been practicing, or whether it's something that they've kind of designed on the fly to try and specifically play against GLB. I would be interested to see what the answer would be on that one. But we'll soon find out whether it's going to work for them. So far, very passive game. Obviously, there was that very early aggression from Zani.
This could be a mistake, but they're going to go for it.
They're going to go for a tower dive. Look at Plex charging on in, half of the galaxy with him. Artorias turns into Meganar at the worst possible moment, though, and will be able to get a kill. Plex flashes forward, does at least pay for that death, but, I mean, they couldn't have timed it much worse with the Meganar spawning right there.
Exactly, that's kind of where I feel like a big issue was in going for a tower dive against the Gnar. You have to time it so that he's going to be nowhere near his Mega Gnar form. Eventually he got to Mega Gnar and he ended up picking up a return kill, which is fantastic here for him. He's going to be going for that Frozen Mallet build, as you can see. He picked up one of the components there to begin with, but has going to go toe-to-toe with a Sheen from Echo. So dueling potential well in favour of Aniki right now. Can he capitalise on it?
Well, we'll soon find out, but so far, generally across the map, we've not got any crazy leads really building up. There is a tiny bit of a CS lead in favour of Aniki, and obviously he has those 2 assists, but it's against a kill for Gnar. Zoni devours Ida Una just correctly, keeps his AD carry alive. Look at that fun fact there. GLB actually stands for Gaben Laserbeam. Who would have thought it? We'll see.
For Gaben Laserbeam.
Did you not know that?
I genuinely didn't know that.
Yeah, their website is gabenlaserbeam.esportify or whatever that thing is, .com.
Other esports websites are available.
Are they? I'm not sure if they are. Everyone seems to have one, but here we go. Zani heading down to the bottom lane, but not actually going to be able to find anything. Sanka's chilling in this brush. I don't know whether GLB know about this. I'd assume not, since they are so up close. Ida Una is going to get devoured, though. Zoni trying to escape and will be able to do so. And that is the pain that is Tom Kench right there. Nice little bit of damage coming out from Zani as well. They don't really want to commit to that 3v3. But again, nothing really too huge going to come out. GLB have slowly but surely eked out a 1k gold lead, though.
Absolutely, and also I wanted to point out, I didn't know how much roaming would come into this from Nocturnal Plex, but it looks like he's trying to have a huge impact in terms of his roaming potential.
Absolutely, and I expect no less from Plex as well. Artorias actually getting the better of that trade a little bit there. Managed to dodge the 3rd stack of the Time Winder, and able to just auto-attack away onto his opposing Echo in Aniki.
It wouldn't be a game from this series if we didn't have a pause.
Yeah, there's another at least 3 or 4 of these later on in the series that we're going to be enjoying. But yeah, so far, very even game between these two teams. And I like that we have 2 quite different compositions, but both, I think, equally viable compositions. I think it's neither team has necessarily won the draft phase, and I think it's just... I love this music, by the way. Just like... I don't even know how to describe this music. It's almost like a really cheesy game show.
I feel like it's better for me to just dance during the pauses than to try and analyse anything. At this time of night, viewers just want to see the Scoundrel dance.
It's almost always better that you don't try and analyse too much. Heyo!
Heyo!
Artorias, though, is in a bit of trouble here. He's nearly got Mega Gnar formed, though, and Aniki actually tanks the tower.
Oh,
he's going to go to Mega Gnar! Oh, Chrono Break at the last second. Woo! That was exciting. But here we go. Plex actually in trouble. He's going to get locked up. Does cleanse, but that's not going to save you from collateral damage, my friend. That is going to be a frozen tomb. As well, the shield comes through from Zani, but he might have just killed himself as well. Why did you follow the queue? Sanko's goes down. Zani survives. What on earth just happened? A series of unfortunate events for both teams. Zani now nearly goes down.
Because a random Taric has just appeared in the top lane.
What? Put that on Twitter, Ryan. I need to see that on Twitter right now. Talk about it, Kiernan. Explain that.
Clown Fiesta. No, honestly, that was, again, trying to dive onto a Gnar who was almost ready to hit Mega Gnar. That in itself was an inherent problem with that situation. It was a ridiculously good kick into Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike from Zani. That was fantastic from him. Plex then unfortunately went through the tower because that's where he imagined that he was going to have to be. He had no other way to go in other than taking a shed ton of turret damage, which just led to this, you know, one crack in the armor. I've been told not to say that other. I'm not told not to say that other phrase. One crack in the armor.
I love how you stopped yourself mid-word.
I know. It's because I've been. Oh, there's something going on in the bottom lane.
The bottom lane. Schoolboy Pete could be in trouble here. Zonny does appear underneath his opponent, but Prosper taking a questionable route out of this fight. Actually, just flashes away. He might be able to get away with this one. Zonny chasing. What has happened in this series? I don't know what's going on anymore.
I just love that
Prosper
the Ashe
is going to go down.
I just love that the Ashe just appeared. You know, like, oh, here's an Ashe.
Oh, hello. Here I am.
Oh, but
Una, though, in trouble now. Schoolboy P may be able to capitalize. Nice little bit of synergy there. Sankas with the collateral damage. And the arcane shot just to finish off.
This is a mental game, my friend.
It's actually a mystic shot, not an arcane shot.
It is a mystic shot, you are correct. So the one crack in the armor here for the GLB guys is that, you know, Brad has that ability to isolate key targets like, you know, Aurelion Sol, like Ashe. You know, those two targets are very easily isolated by Brad using the ultimate. Actually, Artorias now maybe in an awkward situation.
Doesn't have that Mega Nut. Aniki does get a fair chunk of damage, but the stun won't land, and therefore he can't actually finish off the kill in the end. That's going to be a blue buff secured. No! Sanko's got it with the red buff. That's painful. Lissandra doesn't get the blue buff. Has to rely on the passive, which, to be quite honest, always feels a bit lackluster in terms of mana regeneration. But here we go. The tower dive is going to come through. And that frozen tomb is going to be more than enough. Brad doesn't care that he doesn't have the mana regeneration if he can kill them in just 2 spells regardless. And this should be a top lane tower going down.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also the interesting thing about that particular gank is something that lends itself to Perilous' composition. They have that ability to tower dive continuously. And even against the Echo, you can lock up his ability to outplay by using that Lissandra ultimate. And I like this. They're using that, they're trying to force the skirmishes, they're going for tower dives, but they end up losing this mid lane.
Goodbye, Prosper. Actually does manage to get his immunity open. Will survive in the end, or will he? Plex is maybe looking a little bit bloodthirsty for this one, but they don't commit to anything just yet. As actually Plex forced to flash away. Nice true shot barrage coming out from Schoolboy P. And almost actually finished off Plex. Had he not flashed, I think that would have been a kill.
We didn't actually mention it, but Plex has picked up a very sensible summoner spell in the form of Cleanse, knowing that he's probably going to have to cleanse that ultimate coming out from Brad, who's getting focused down there. So I do like that use of summoner spell there. We'll have to see how well it's used when it comes to the surrounding team fights. Because like I said, he's actually going to be going for what looks to be... Is that going to be Hextech Proto Belt? Or something along those lines?
I'm usually asking you those questions.
Got a catalyst.
You're meant to tell me that.
Well, he's got a Catalyst of Aeon, so the Rod of Ages makes sense here. Maybe he's got the spell damage. Oh, wow, okay. That is exactly what Time Kench does.
Here we go. Does pick up Una, and the arrow actually going to come through. They're looking for the re-engage, but that close range, the stun, isn't going to last very long. Nocturnal Plex trying to turn that one around onto Brad, but I think Brad might have the better of that situation. Cleanse will be available for the ultimate, though.
No global objectives have been contested right now either, because this has been such a slugfest between two close fought teams here.
And look how close the gold is. Again, these two teams are neck and neck between each other. And, I mean, just look across the board as well. There's no real significant leads. I mean, there's 600 in the jungle for Zanny, but that's it, really. That's the only major lead across the entire board, and 600 gold, it's kind of neither here nor there at the end of the day. When it comes,
don't kick the Artorias who's nearly Mega now.
Yeah, that's a bad situation.
Ashe!
Una does get caught. There's a nice little kick to disengage. Mega Gnar will be coming through in a second, though. Brad is going to keep himself alive using that Frozen Tomb to defensively there. Artorias goes into the Mega Gnar forms. Aniki was desperately waiting for the cooldown there on his, I can't remember what the E is called. His little dash.
Phase dive.
Phase dive, that was it.
Yeah, there you go. I looked that one up earlier.
Did you?
Yeah.
I should have. Rookie error. Never mind. But in the end, actually, Sankas has been caught out here. Ooh, Voice of Light, I want to call it, goes down. Doesn't actually quite finish off Sankas. It's like Voice of God or something. It's got a ridiculous name.
Anyway, it looks like the first neutral objective could be coming down here, as obviously Sankas is taking very low. They're actually going to try and fight.
This is such a weird skirmish. They keep on engaging and disengaging.
YOLO arrow.
There goes the arrow onto Prosper. Look how long the stun is when you get it at that distance. Schoolboy P goes down. The Comets are flying, and they are hitting their targets. Artorias super low, cannot get into Mega Form. And that is going to be another kill going their way. Actually, Tarek finishes off Echo. That should not be happening right there. Idouna arrives in the fight. Brad is getting pretty unhealthy at this stage. Barely any mana as well. And with this minion wave, they should be able to finish off this tower. Brad basically out of mana, so they shouldn't have the wave clear, but did manage to get a couple of ice shards out. And in the end, 7-7, 1,000 gold difference. It's still neck and neck, and GLB can't take the objective.
Really looking forward to see where Nocturnal Plex goes with his build, because Rod of Ages would make sense given he's probably going to be, with those Comets, soaking up a lot of damage for his squad. But I would like to see a Rylai's, you know, at some point during this build path, because I think he desperately needs it to make sure that he's... Okay, it's going to be the other Hextech item. The one that fires those icy things. It's the Hextech Icy Fire thing that I can't remember the name of right now.
Yep. We're doing great on names tonight.
Yeah, we are, dude.
Way, but
it's quite late, though, isn't it? You know, we're getting to post 12 PM at this point.
Yeah, that is always a tricky one. Zonny is in a whole heap of trouble. He's going to go down here. Brad is going to be the one to grab the kill credit for himself. In the meantime, though, Aniki just going to be clearing away these minion waves up in the top lane. Finally gets to go and actually have a bit of a farm. When you look at the top laners, they've spent so much time roaming around the map that they're actually kind of starved for CS just a little bit.
Absolutely.
Aniki has managed to get the advantage in that scenario. He's 20 CS up on his opponent. When you compare them to the mid laners and the AD carries, they're really falling behind.
Yeah, and obviously nearly Triforce finished up. I can't get over the fact that Zeal has no longer become a... Okay, goodbye.
Artorias is going to be able to finish this kill onto Idouna. Flash is still available, and he does manage to flash the boulder. I guess Leap had already been used for Artorias there. I was waiting for that one. Teleport actually going to come out from him just to try and save this top lane tower. We'll be able to do so as well.
I can't get over the fact that Triforce no longer uses Zeal. It just doesn't feel like the same Triforce anymore. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, mate. Also that it doesn't cost like 3 gold or whatever the complete cost was way back when.
But it gives you, obviously, because Stinger has inherent amount of cooldown reduction in it, right? It gives you a small amount of cooldown reduction now, which makes its utility for other champions a little bit more effective, hence why you see sometimes Echo go for it.
I love how basically this entire cast has just been us reminiscing on what League used to be like.
Back in my day.
Yeah. I think we're showing our age at this point. You know, early 20s.
Early 20s, exactly.
Great stuff.
Like, it's literally granddad status for esports, my friend.
It actually is worryingly, unless you're Red Eye.
No, but Red Eye's like patriarch. Red Eye is literally patriarch of UK esports.
Pretty much at this stage. But Zanny going to be heading up towards this top lane, looking to make sure they can finally secure this tower, and that will give GLB a nice little chunk of gold, give them a little bit more of a lead. They've been trying to finish off that tower for quite some time.
They have indeed.
They do finally make it so. But generally, this has actually been, despite the kills, obviously there was like a 4-minute period where it was just nothing but skirmishes. But outside of that, it's been a very, very passive game from both teams.
No, absolutely. I mean, we have seen almost 1 kill per minute at this point in time, but it has definitely calmed down in this latter half, like you said. Because most of the kills came out in that sort of first 5 to 7 minutes. Things have started to slow down a little bit. Global objectives like the Dragon have been taken off the map by Perilous. However, the gold is still firmly sitting in the favour of GLB. Maybe just due to those CS differences that you're seeing open up in that top lane. Although there is a big CS difference now in favour of Perilous in the mid lane. So it's probably also the fact that 1 turret is in favour of GLB at this current moment in time.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of gold in the pocket of Idouna as well. Would expect him to be heading back to base soon enough. Might be able to grab himself a tasty little BF sword. Everyone needs their best friend in a time like this. And we'll see whether that's going to make a big difference. But
has he finished Runans yet? I think he's already got a BF sword. I'm wondering if he's going to finish Runans. Yeah, he should have enough to finish Runans pretty soon.
I couldn't see his items, so
yeah.
Who knew? Who knew? Maybe he gets the second BF sword. Probably not, though.
Hey, 2 best friends are better than 1.
Ooh, I don't know. Can start a lot of drama.
What was if your best friends are also best friends with each other?
3's a crowd, mate. 3's a crowd.
Oh, okay, so I see where you're going with that. I won't push you any further.
Well,
Speaking
I
of
wasn't
Clown
actually
Fiesta-
going anywhere.
Speaking of Clown Fiesta, how's this cast going for you?
It's fantastic, mate. I'm absolutely loving I'm loving every second. But
It's
I want to
actually
talk
quite fun.
about the mid lane a little bit here. 4-0-1 for Brad, but 3-1-2 for Nocturnal Plex.
And he's going
Both
towards
of these
Rylai's.
guys are getting pretty fed at this stage. And as well, both of these mid laners very reliant on positioning. When it comes to these team fights later on in the game, you got to be keeping your eye on where these two mid laners are going to be positioning and what they're trying to achieve in these fights.
I also love the itemization choices for both of these guys. Like I said, Rylai is open and looks like it's building towards there for Nocturnal Plex. And I love the Proto Bell and the Zhonya's. You know, it gives her the extra boost in terms of positioning, and also when she commits as Lissandra, you have that backup in terms of Zhonya's. It's a core item. Double pink ward also, you know. Well, one pink ward is better than two. Everyone knows that. Two pink wards are better than one.
Every AD carry needs their best friend, and every pink ward does too. Did you know pink wards actually, just like cows, have a best friend for life?
What's that? Is it another pink ward, or is it? Or
It's another pink ward. It's that specific duo of pink wards right there. They're best friends for life.
Oh,
Most pink wards don't actually meet another pink ward, but when they do,
they're best friends for life.
best friends for life.
What was if one of them dies?
Look at that, beautiful.
Do you reckon?
Well, tears are shed.
Do they become heartbroken for the rest of their days?
Yeah.
Damn.
They go from pink to still pink.
From pink, so it shows its heartbreak by going from pink to a exactly same tone of pink.
Exactly. To the naked eye, it looks the same, but to a trained
pink ward,
pink wardologist.
pink wardologist.
Anyway, moving on.
So what about the pink of oracles that you get through? Sweeper. Are they?
That's the power of love radiating.
The power of love, and you kill off all of the non-best friends.
Exactly.
Which are the green wards.
Exactly.
Or rather, you can't say green wards anymore. Rip green wards.
Can you not say green wards
They
anymore?
don't. No, they're just trinket wards these days, aren't they?
Well, I guess they're still green wards though.
Yeah, but you can't buy green wards these days.
Like,
Sightstone.
well, I mean, they're technically called sight wards anyway.
Ah.
But here we go, 1v1 in the top lane. Aniki with a nice little chrono break will dodge away from that wallop. And the boulder goes off to the side. But Artorias has run out of time, and he's run out of directions that he can go to as well. He's going to try and go for one last hurrah, but there's no way he was winning out that situation. He's going to go down in the meantime. We can see Brad and co trying to push onto this mid lane tower, but it's not actually going to work out for them. Ice Tomb going to be used defensively there by Brad to keep himself alive, and will be able to get away on his Claw of Doom. Zoni trying to commit to this fight. Look at all the flashes go off left, right, and center. There's the shutdown going the way of Nocturnal Plex, and Prosper is going to be no longer for this world. Schoolboy P is going to get kicked in the face by Zanny. Sanko's looking for the split push Graves to come on through, but in the end, this is looking like a Baron coming through for GLB.
Oh no!
Oh, heartbreak. Oh, and they leave him alive!
No, why would you do that?
Heartless monsters!
Oh, kill me, please! My best friend just got destroyed.
That poor pink ward. Never mind. Well, actually, this is a really bad situation. Zoni incredibly low, as is Aniki. They've committed way too hard for this Baron right now. Sanka's looking to clean up. He's got a double kill for himself. They're tanking up the Baron as well, but he's incredibly low and will go down to Ido Una in the end.
How did they actually get the Baron?
Who got that?
That's definitely got to be GLB,
Wait, what?
right? No, Baron didn't go down.
But I'm
It's still-
sure I saw it go down.
it's
Oh,
still
I think it went out of vision
It went
as
out
it
of
did
vision.
the knock-up
Oh,
animation,
okay.
and it looked like it was dying or
Yeah,
something.
I was totally confused
That
right
was
there.
really weird interaction.
My heart was just too ripped apart by the pink ward story.
I know, yeah. I was devastated. Look at that poor thing.
Oh,
So
look
alone.
and it's sparkling now because it needs to attract a new friend.
No, they don't get new friends. Best friend for life.
Okay, well, he's going to be pretty sad.
Forever
to it.
lonely.
Well,
Forever alone.
Well, please, someone from GLB, put him out of his misery.
Yeah. Be merciful. Either way, regardless of pink wards, let's take a look at the fact that it's still 2,500 gold between these two teams. Once again, we are neck and neck pretty much. 23 minutes into the game, 2,000 gold. It's a decent lead for Perilous, or for GLB, sorry. But it's not actually, it's not going to be game breaking right now. It's not going to be enough to be deciding
Rylize has been finished. This is pretty huge, I would say, for GLB, because their teamfight control suddenly becomes huge at this point.
Oh, Brad goes straight on in. Zhonya's forced out of him immediately, and actually has to use his Frozen Tomb as well. He's pretty much blown his load at this stage and has to just go to the back of the teamfight. Artorias on this front line trying to tangle the damage, and the AD carry has finally arrived for GLB. Had Idauna been there the entire time, that would have been so much better for them, but unfortunately, they just didn't have the damage.
Schoolboy P going for the Triforce build on the Ezreal as well, giving a little bit more in terms of damage output, I would say, for his squad. They are going to be able to get this Drake, nearly stolen away by True Shot Barrage. You can just see the amount of control that GLB have right now, with that Rylize, with the amount of CC that they bring to the table, with the Aurelion Sol and the Ashe. It's difficult for Perilous to be able to maneuver to a position. Oh no, not again.
Rip Pink Ward.
He's just forever destined to be alone.
Forever.
And he's got, and you can see the other Pink Ward over there not had a best friend, so he doesn't know the pain of loss. Oh, okay. Here we go.
I love how we're happy to see him put out of his misery. It's
yeah,
like,
he's gone.
It's like when your dog is 22 years old and has all kinds of arthritis and all sorts else.
So you're saying
Sad
they put
boys.
that Pink Ward down?
Yeah.
That's horrible. That's
They did, mate. Put it out of his misery. Poor thing. Anyway, enough about dead Pink Wards.
You're still
and dead
performing
pets.
its function.
Well, yeah. You're not wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, it is an inanimate ward that has no feelings.
This went from a cute story to an incredibly painful, repressed memory type of stream.
Well, moving swiftly on. Let's agree to never talk of the Pink Ward again.
What happened to the ESL Premiership stream? It used to be really good.
I don't know, mate. I think I happened to it.
I think I happened to it. I bet it was super professional with Will.
It was pretty professional with Will.
Should I go back to trying to be professional?
If you want to.
I don't really want to, but
Well,
I shall try.
either way, the fight has begun. Sankos gets caught up by the Ashe Arrow, but will be able to walk away with his life. And the Claw of Doom goes on in. Brad going to use his Frozen Tomb on himself. Still full HP, so doing a good job on this one. Zhonya's having to get to the back line.
Look at the control coming through.
Low. Look at the damage coming out from Aniki. Does manage to finish it off. Prosper, he's got the Q on him, and the Sonic Wave will be followed up. Zani gets a second kill for the fight, and GLB are winning this one out.
Oh, the stun comes through.
Looking for so much damage. Nice little quick draw by Sankos, and it turns into a 2-for-2. All of a sudden, Schoolboy P gets the second kill. They're looking to chase this one. Zoni narrowly avoids that Mystic shot. And again, another fight that is neck and neck, toe-to-toe between these two teams.
I literally cannot believe it, Munchables. It is so close, and that only went awry because I think Zani tried to make a hero Lee Sin play to kick the Ezreal back into the squad, but eventually ended up kicking Graves and got taken out.
Yeah.
But oh my word, that was such a close play. I also want to pick up the fact that Artorias has gone second item GA here. I think knowing that he can be such a huge threat in these team fights, it just makes him that much harder to take out at this point in time, and makes him a little bit more of a nuisance. But I want to illustrate what GLB's composition is starting to do, and it's something that I said that it would potentially do as this game progressed. They have the ability to control, much like the Cassiopeia, on that pursuit. They have huge control of spatial teamfight areas, which means that you saw they were able to get a lot of pressure onto Schoolboy. They were able to chase down Perilous very, very easily. Had Zani not tried to make a hero play, it would have been a complete win there for GLB. They would have had a 2-for-1 and potentially could have moved into another lane to push waves and get some more vision down. But Zani tried to make that hero play. It didn't quite work out the way that they wanted it to. But you can see GLB have that option. Unfortunately, we haven't seen Perilous bring their composition to a round yet. We haven't seen a wombo combo from them. We haven't seen Brad try and lock up Ashe, even though I think he tried in that last fight, but ended up ulting himself. So we're interesting to see what happened if Perilous Void actually pull off the kind of teamfight that they want to.
Absolutely, and I am loving how close this series is between these two teams. Let's remember as well, these guys are playing for tournament life. Whoever loses is out of this season of the Premiership. This will be the end of their run. Neither team wants that to be the case. They want the opportunity to fight TCA, but Prosphere has been caught out and will get obliterated. This is great news for GLB as they look to continue the fight. Aniki, though, already forced out of his chrono break there. Incredibly low. Artorias on this front line. He's soaking up a lot of damage, has that GA available, but he's going to have to use it soon. The Claw of Doom goes on in, but Brad does not follow it. Artorias will go down. So it's 2 4-0 in favor of GLB. All they have to do is not lose any members, and they take an advantage.
Are they going to try and go for the Baron here? I'm not sure that's incredibly sensible. Maybe consolidate and go for, well, there's nothing else on the map, so maybe try and move towards that top lane wave that's pushing towards you and try and get an objective that way. Definitely think Baron is a bit risky, especially into Graves and the fact that everyone has basically respawned as well. So it's a two for nothing at this point in time. That's all they've been playing for, and they're trying to siege onto this mid lane turret, but they won't quite be able to just because of the wave clear coming out from Brad and Schoolboy P. It's quite extensive at this point in time.
Dragon going to be up in 1 minute's time. So Brad going super deep with that one. The claw into his proto belt as well, but can't actually find the Ring of Frost to lock up his opponent. And in the end, we find ourselves at another stalemate here. Just 3,000 gold between these two teams.
So close. I can't believe it. And you've got to remember that the loser is out of the ESL Premiership Group A, out of this season of the ESL Premiership, and won't be able to fight in the loser bracket.
They're already in the loser bracket.
Yeah, they won't be able to fight in the loser bracket final, essentially, for that space at MCM. So this is the stakes on the line right now. The individual mistakes could lead to you essentially losing your tournament life. And that is huge, and that's probably why we're not seeing so many risky plays being made here by either squad.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that these teams, I know GLB would definitely like another shot at taking on TCA in those finals. Obviously, I feel like they probably feel a little bit robbed in that series against TCA earlier on in the tournament. They did lose fair and square, but they ended up defaulting the first game against TCA, so I'm sure that they would look a full best
Ash is getting singled out here.
Yeah, Ash is in trouble. Ida Una actually might end up going down, dodges the collateral damage though, and will survive. Plex now is going to be the first one to fall. Chronobreak lands onto 2, but barely any damage comes out. The claw is not going to be followed up as Zhonya's was in play, and so far it's a 1-0. Zanny is locked up, does actually manage to flash and safeguard his way out of there, so good damage control coming out from GLB. They do escape, but Cloud Drake, the ugly duckling Drake, as Vedius calls it, is going to go the way of Perilous.
Yeah, but I feel like it's starting to have more use, and I think movement speed is especially key to Brad's ability to find a flank play or try and get into the back line for a wombo combo. So Cloud Drake is not a bad pickup, but I agree, probably the least useful of the four in a lot of situations, but has been given more, I guess, importance in terms of its movement speed scaling. 3 can really affect your ability to transition in terms of rotations, but at this point in time, rotations probably aren't as key as they used to be. Actually, we're going to see... Oh, Prosper.
Yeah, Prosper trying to get some vision on the Baron, as Trid excellently demonstrated on the observing there, but Prosper is in a whole lot of trouble, and Nikki can't quite finish it, but there is the arrow from downtown, ladies and gentlemen. Ida Una gets the cross-map snipe. Sankuz now is going to get dropped as well, but it is a 2-for-1. At least they do manage to get a singular trade. Perilous still losing out in the end though, and now Brad is in a whole heap of trouble. Already used his ultimate, already used his Zhonya's, and will get finished off. Artorias is all alone, but he's not looking to go down without a fight, doing a whole heap of damage, and Zhonny now actually going to get slowed. There is Schoolboy P as well. Just a single mystic shot would finish off that player, but Plex is doing his very best to zone them out. The stun lands, and there's a kill for Zanny. Artorias now going to get chased on down. The comets are spinning. Plex is the center of the universe and the center of attention right now, as he's managing to do some serious work on Aurelion Sol.
These are super close games between these guys right now. These team fights could go either way. Got to give it to Plex there. He tried to predict the arcane shift, but Zanny had him covered anyway. Very, very good play from Plex, able to pick up the kill onto Schoolboy P. Artorias looking for a final kill into Zhonny here.
Nice. Does manage to get the extra pickup at the end there, so he's going to be quite happy with that little consolation prize. And actually, that's kind of going to even things up again. And once more, we see a game where the gold lead just does not change. It's been about 3K for at least 10 minutes in this game, and we just keep seeing these teams go blow for blow, and no one seems to quite be able to take the advantage. Brad, this is like the most beautiful situation when you get to just annihilate 4 waves of minions. You just get to soak up all that delicious gold, that delicious CS. He's going to be over the moon with that one.
So as this game progresses, you can't help but feel that obviously the later game carries neither of them really stack up against each other. It really depends on the situation. Usually you'd say as the game goes on, there's one team that's definitely going to bring themselves out ahead in terms of their ability to win in the later game because it's late game. But as it stands, I'd say both teams are pretty even as this game progresses to the late game. It just really depends on how these team fights are progressing. Remember, if you commit as Perilous, you can be punished just like you can with the Cassiopeia. Zoni is going to be targeted here.
Yeah, well, the Tahm Kench not really the one that they want to be focusing on if they can help it. And Echo right now, and Niki is going to be setting off in that split push roll now. He's headed towards that bottom lane, looking to try and get some pressure down so that they can maybe look towards this Baron. And I think these next 5 minutes are really going to decide this game. This is going to be where things really start to kick off. True Shot Barrage lands onto 2 or 3 members there.
I feel like Sivir would have been a really solid pick in this composition for Perilous. I feel like if they had Sivir, they may have not been struggling all the problems to find the picks that they need. But they've got the Ezreal, which later game damage output, especially single target, probably is excelled, but doesn't quite give the team the utility they need to follow up on, an initial Taric stun, or even just trying to find and engage onto someone like Ida Una.
I think what they need to try and achieve is get a flank with Artorias. If they can get a flank with that Gnar, goodness gracious me, GLB are going to have a hard time in that fight. But the Baron has been started off. It's down to half HP, but the fight will begin. They're not going to even try for Baron. They're just looking for this fight right now. Zoni is going to be the focus target. Sankuz is in trouble. Prospect as well, incredibly low. Schoolboy P trying to protect his support, but it's not going to happen. And now he's put himself in harm's way himself. Double kill comes through for Aniki. Make that a triple
kill.
Chrono Break comes on through, and he will be able to escape with his life. Zani now looking for Sankuz and will be able to finish it. Zani grabs himself a killing spree. 9-2-12 for Zani, can I point out.
Wow.
Nocturnal Plex, eat your heart out. Artorias, the last man remaining for Perilous. And GLB look towards Baron. There's no way Artorias can stop this one, shy of a miracle happening. Will be able to dodge away from the stun. Actually, he's going to look for Plex right now. He's turning into Mega Gnar and forces out the flash. Maybe he can look to try and boulder steal the Baron, but it's risky to say the least. And the Baron will go the way of GLB.
Hey,
I think Artorias has stayed too long.
Crystal Arrow's up.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Artorias, I mean, this might be the end, my friend. I don't think they're actually going to chase him.
No, they're not. No one can follow the Ashe up, and obviously Artorias will probably be able to survive that out, and then obviously there is the backup now coming in from Perilous Wood.
Well, now we've actually seen a gold lead start to build. We can see that 6,000 gold in favour of GLB. They've also got that Baron buff, which is going to be hugely important, because one of the biggest issues they've had is Perilous have got excellent wave clear, but against that Baron, that's not really going to be the same case.
It's still difficult for Lissandra against the Baron minions to clear. Remember, the majority of the wave clear comes through the True Shot Barrage and the single snipes of the Mystic Shot, but then obviously it is going to be the wave clear that Lissandra provides being the majority of the case. Against the Baron minions, that will be harder.
Here we go. Daddy Dragon has spawned.
Hell yeah.
And it's going to be GLB that are starting this one off. There is no vision whatsoever for Perilous right now. And it's just going to be burnt down so quickly. Well, maybe I exaggerate how quickly it's going to get burnt down. It does have so much HP. Well, Artorias and Sankuz, they finally spot it out. They finally got some vision, but it's down to just 4,000 HP. Zani is going to have his smite available if they want to go for this on Prospect on the backline, but he doesn't actually have that much HP to work with. He ends up going down. The Comets are chunking out these enemy members. Nocturnal Plex is having a field day right now. Lands the stun. No, he doesn't actually. Sankuz survives, but not for very long. As Artorias again finds himself the last one in the team fight. Schoolboy B has just gone straight back to base. They don't care about the Elder Dragon. They're barreling down mid lane. They're looking for inhibitors.
This could even be game if they are quick enough. They've got a very quick team to take turrets with the Ashe. That is exactly what I said about GLB. It's almost mirrored in the type of composition that it is against Perilous Void's first composition when they have the Cassiopeia. If you don't get what you want from your initial engage, the zonal control with the Rhyalize and the Ashe makes it very difficult as a team to be able to come back, especially when the pursuit starts to happen. They're going to go for the win here.
Yeah, they're searching to end the game right now. They're searching for their way into the loser bracket finals. They've taken one tower, and they're looking for the second. I don't think Schoolboy P can stop this one. Neither can Prosper. The Nexus is under siege, and it is, ladies and gentlemen, going to be GLB. A double kill comes through for Idauna as they take out the Nexus, and GLB managed to take the series 2-1 in the end, in honestly the closest series we have seen in this season of the Premiership.
If not maybe multiple seasons of the Premiership. It has been super hard fought between these two, both fighting for their Premiership hearts, essentially, making sure that they want to come back and give themselves the best opportunity to get to MCM. But I did say I felt like the GLB composition, if they manage